This is KSL Sports Live, broadcasting from the Mountain Home Services studios.
Thanks for staying up with us. The best from Big 12 Media Days is on the way.
We'll also pay tribute to the incredible life of Frank Layden, who passed away Wednesday at the age of 93.
But let's start things off in Las Vegas, home of the NBA Summer League. Jazz fans hoping to get a chance to see both first-round draft picks on the court tonight, but unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Yeah, both Ace Bailey and Walt Clayton Jr., they missed tonight's Summer League game against the Golden State Warriors, out with soreness, according to the Jazz.
I tried to go out with soreness tonight, but the bosses wouldn't let me. The player from Utah that stood out early, but it was not a Jazz player. It was Utah running Ute star Gabe Madsen of the Golden State Warriors. He had fire coming out of his ears in the first half. 6 of 7 from 3, 18 points off the bench in 8 minutes. He finished with 22 for the Jazz. Kyle Filipowski had 19 points. Cody Williams, he had some great minutes, both ends of the court, 22 points, 3 steals to lead the Jazz. Cam McGriff also had 19 in a Jazz loss. They play the Spurs Monday night. Yegor Gelman playing his second Summer League game. We're having to learn how to say his name right. Nets and the Wizards. Yegor, 12 points on 4 threes, including that one that bounces 8 feet into the air and back in. Drew Timmy, former Gonzaga star, led the Nets with 30 points, including a poster dunk. But the star of this game was Trey Johnson, the 6th overall pick, 21 points, 7 of 11 shooting.
One down in the ninth for Cedon Rafaela.
Swinging a drive! Sox can't lose.
They really can't. The Red Sox, wearing their Fenway greens Friday night, walked it off to continue their hot streak. At that point, it was 8 straight wins. Then on Saturday, the Bo Sox extended the win streak to 9 in a row behind the arm of Garrett Crochet. A 100-pitch complete game, 3-hit shutout with 9 strikeouts. His 10th win of the season. He's one of 3 Boston players headed to the All-Star game on Tuesday. Today, the Red Sox finished off the series with the Rays. It was a tie game in the bottom of the 6th when Trevor Story hits one off the green monster, playing a little wall ball there. RBI single gave the Sox the lead for good. In that same inning, Friday's hero did it again. Cedon Rafaela, a 2-run blast. The Red Sox pull away for their 10th straight win, 3 games behind the Blue Jays for first in the East.
Marlins and Orioles. Nobody had a better day in Major League Baseball than the Marlins' Kyle Stowers. He started in the second inning with a 400-foot solo shot for the game's first run. Then next inning, in his next plate appearance, Stowers does it again, this time with a runner on to give the Marlins a 4-0 lead. He wasn't done. His next plate appearance in the 5th, deja vu, another 2-run shot, 7-0 Marlins, the first 3-home-run game for the All-Star. They go on to win 11-1.
In Kansas City, Royals hosting the Mets. Nick Lofton had a game-winning hit Tuesday night against the Pirates. He did it again today.
Lofton, Mauricio, base hit. Here comes Tolbert, flying around third. The throw, the dive, he's safe. The Royals win it. A redemption swing from Nick Lofton.
Yeah, the Royals avoid the sweep. The Mets fall a half game back of the Phillies for first place in their division.
All right, now to Wimbledon. Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz gave us a French Open final for the ages. Alcaraz rallied to defeat Sinner in a 5-hour, 29-minute marathon for the ages. It launched a new rivalry. Well, we got the rematch at Wimbledon. Breakfast at Wimbledon on Sunday. Sinner and Alcaraz for the men's singles title. First set, Carlos Alcaraz with a backhand winner to take the opening set 6-4, trying to win 3 in a row, but Jannik Sinner would respond with a backhand winner to go up 3-1 in the second set. Back and forth rally. Sinner extends with a reaching forehand to take set 2. Go to the third set. Sinner utilizes the tweener and then a smash to even the set at 3 games each. Then Sinner with the rocket serve. Alcaraz can't do anything about that. He goes up 2-1 in the match. Fourth set, Alcaraz threatening to rally, but Sinner shuts it down this time. Deuce to go up 5-3. There would be no comeback on the grass. Sinner again with a strong serve to win the match. He beats Alcaraz to claim his first Wimbledon crown. He's the first Italian ever to win the men's title at Wimbledon, and this was Sinner's 4th Grand Slam. He won the Australian Open earlier this year.
Well, it became official this week. Quarterback Jake Retzlaff will not continue his college football career at BYU. He announced on his Instagram page that he is officially withdrawn from the school. He cannot enter the transfer portal because the portal is currently closed. However, he can enroll at another school of his choosing and become eligible to play this fall. Coaches cannot contact him directly, but they can contact his agent and representatives. And I guess that's how they work it all out. Now, Retzlaff was either going to stay and endure a 7-game suspension or leave the school altogether, which, of course, now we know he did. Either way, BYU was going to face an unexpected offseason battle for the starting quarterback job. The candidates, redshirt junior Trayson Bourget, who started 8 games at Western Michigan before transferring to BYU. Redshirt sophomore McKay Hillstead, who played in 8 games and started 4 of those as a true freshman at Utah State 2 years ago. And incoming true freshman Bear Bachmeier. Last year, there was a competition for the starting job. It turned out well for the Cougars. They finished 11-2. Coach Sataki says it's all because these battles, they ignite more team unity.
Yeah, the guys will rally around it. They'll rally no matter who the decision is and who the player is. They'll rally around that situation and that player. And then hopefully that player steps up and then plays out of this world and plays for his teammates.
No matter what, Coach Kalani sets the standard, and everyone is up to that standard. And if everyone's up to it, nothing should change, right? So as long as everyone's up to that standard, playing to that standard, I mean, defense is going to play lights out. Then on offense, we're going to do our thing. So no matter who's back there, it shouldn't change anything.
Now, there were 2 other times under Sataki that the season turned out pretty good after a quarterback competition. How about in 2016, Taysom Hill beating out Tanner Mangum for the job. The Cougars ended the season on a 6-game win streak, which included a win in the Poinsettia Bowl, a 9-4 record in Kalani Sataki's first season as head coach. Then you might remember, of course, the summer of 2020. It was Zach Wilson, Jaron Hall, and Baylor Romney in the mix for the starting job that summer. Wilson emerged as QB1, and the Cougars went on to finish 11-1, ending the season ranked 16th in the AP poll. Zach Wilson, of course, went on to become the number 2 overall pick in the following NFL draft.
So excited to watch him play this fall, and if spring ball is any indication, you guys are in for a treat to watch him play this fall.
We all love treats, and after a 5-7 season, Utah fans could use some. The Utes are flying under the radar in 2024, which is exactly why how Kyle Whittingham likes it, right? But if the Utes field an offense whose production matches the stout play of its defense, and what if the Utes have a quarterback who can rack up 4,000 yards of offense and more than 30 touchdowns through the air and on the ground? Well, that Utah team could be really, really good. Well, by adding offensive coordinator Jason Beck and quarterback Devin Dampier to the program, that's exactly what is possible. That New Mexico offense was 4th in the country last year in total offense, 484 yards per game. Utah's defense only allowed 20.7 points per game last season. So if the offense scored just 28 points per game, they would have won 5 more games and finished with a 10-2 record last year. Utah was a playmaker away from having a great first season in the Big 12. Now with Dampier, they have that playmaker, and he's already brought a spark to the Utes offense and quickly emerged as a team leader.
He's got that it factor that you look for in quarterbacks. He's got the field general mentality that you look for. There's no doubt who's in charge on offense.
I think the word that comes to my mind when we talk about Dev is electric.
Oh, look at the fake and the score!
He's athletic. He can move outside of the pocket and be okay and still make a play down the field, or if he has to take off with his feet, he will.
He's just a playmaker. He extends plays. He keeps plays alive. So, I mean, that's something special to have as a quarterback because that's one of the most important positions on the field. So, I mean, to have that, it's a blessing.
I've learned last year Utah team, that's not them. We made that very clear that that's not the normal, and, we're not going to make that the normal at all. That's not us. So, just going forward, that puts a chip on my shoulder. I want to be part of a program where, we get back right where we've been at. So, that's the goal going forward.
Well, we all remember Frank Layden for many reasons. It could have been attending your first Jazz game at the old Salt Palace, or watching dazzling dunks and basketball bloopers on VHS, or even just those old Chili Open commercials.
Frank Layden's story, and chances are, so do you, because he did so much good for Utah over the years and treated everyone like a friend. The legendary coach passed away Wednesday at the age of 93.
You know, he has many career highlights. We'll just highlight a few of those. He led the Jazz to its first ever division title and playoff win as head coach in 1984. In that same year, he became the first ever to win the NBA's Coach of the Year and Executive of the Year awards in the same season. He later would hand over coaching duties to Jerry Sloan early in that 1988-89 season. Layden was also responsible for drafting players like Darrell Griffith, Thurl Bailey, John Stockton, and Karl Malone.
Sam Battistone, I'd like to thank him for his faith in me. And what I'm going to do is reward him by promising him and this organization to bring a world championship team to Utah next year. Of course, it will be either the Celtics or the Lakers.
Frank Layden had the quickest wit in the league, giving us all a glimpse of that right away in that press conference announcing him as the head coach in '81. That personality followed him throughout his entire career.
We got to get this on camera. Cancel the tickets. We're not even going to go.
Is this the best thing that's ever happened to you as far as your career?
No.
The most fun thing?
Well, no. My honeymoon was a lot of fun. All right. Frank Layden for Eyewitness News.
Sports reporter KSL ever had. He was funny in front of the cameras, of course, but he also gave us a glimpse behind the scenes, letting KSL in the room to explain his draft board before taking Darrell Griffith in the 1980 draft. Layden, the third winningest coach in Jazz history, and was head coach of the WNBA's Utah Stars as well from 1998 to 99.
We will have more on the passing of Frank Layden later in the show. Up next, more Summer League action.
Got my all my attention, that's for certain, and last year was a disappointment. It was very frustrating.
Did a 5-7 season light a fire under Kyle Whittingham? And how important is it for a team or teams in the Big 12 to dominate the league? Is parity good or bad for the Big 12? Brett Yormark shares his opinion.
And a crowd take it off. Oh, what a bucket by the rookie.
We haven't seen Ace Bailey play down in Vegas yet, but how did he do in the 2 games he played in Salt Lake? Hear his self-evaluation coming up.
All that plus Diego Luna back home. He returns from the Gold Cup, and Real Salt Lake has momentum for a second-half playoff push. That and a look back at what Frank Layden did to save the Utah Jazz in the early 80s. Stick around. More KSL Sports Live after this.
Watching KSL Sports Live.
KSL Sports Live continues with more Summer League action, including this highlight reel-worthy play from Bucks guard Marquise Noel. The no-look lob to Andre Jackson Jr. for the dunk. Take another look at the no-look. He sees all. Fourth quarter, Clips guard Jordan Miller off balance. Gets the shot to drop. Miller had 21 points. Clippers win the game.
Good for them. Magic Raptors gave us a great play as well. This is Noah Penda of France, the 32nd overall pick in the draft. He's not playing like a second-round pick. This was just plain rude. He don't care. Dunking on dudes. He had 9 points and 14 rebounds. Magic lost, but it's Summer League, so whatever.
Darren Williams at the old Rocky Mountain Review, maybe Donovan Mitchell in Salt Lake City Summer League. Seems like there's always a player that gives Jazz fans hope for the future at Summer League.
Yeah, who's that player this year? Well, a handful of youngsters are painting a bright picture for what's to come.
The number 5 pick in the NBA draft, Ace Bailey, played in the first 2 Summer League games here in Salt Lake City. Game number 2, Bailey showed his athletic ability, explosive moves going to the rim. Kyle Filipowski has also played well. He had 2 double-doubles, leads the Jazz 21 points per game in Summer League, and Bryce Sensabaugh continues to burn down the nets. 11 of 17 from three-point range through 2 games that he played in. He scored a Salt Lake City Summer League record 37 points against the Grizzlies. But so far, Bailey, he says his NBA experience in Utah has been a success.
I mean, game 1, first NBA game, so a little gibberish here and there. I mean, just too excited. But second game, talked to the vets again. They just told me to calm down, let the game come to you. And that's what happened.
I know the box score says he improved a lot, but I think he showed a lot of positives last game, too. I think that he had a couple tough shots tonight that maybe didn't go down in the first game. But he rebounded really well both games. So I thought he played pretty well both games. He was just a little bit more solid defensively.
Now back to college football. Kyle Whittingham has been the head coach at Utah for 20 years. Just 3 times have the Utes had a losing season on his watch. 2 of them were in the Pac-12 transition, and last year in the transition to the Big 12. It didn't sit well with Kyle, as you could imagine, and nor should it, as we continue to speculate on when the living legend decides to call it a career. It's hard to imagine seeing him go out like that. So it should come as no surprise that he's re-energized, refocused, and more motivated than ever as he enters his 21st season as head coach, determined to lead the program to a bounce-back season and contend for a Big 12 title. If the offense clicks and Devin Dampier is as good as advertised, the Utes could accomplish much more than just a bounce-back season.
It's got all my attention, that's for certain, and last year was a disappointment. It was very frustrating, but it's reality. I mean, you can list off the reasons as to what our struggles were because of, but nobody cares. I mean, they were something that we didn't do a good enough job of overcoming, and so it motivated me very much so to get ready for this season and get a team ready that is going to be extremely competitive, and we got a lot of things going for us. Now, we haven't played anybody yet, but I'm excited to watch these guys play on August 30th.
Different buzz in the building than there was in years past. I mean, you can just feel it. It's an energy, it's a buzz. You just, deep down, it feels different.
5-11 is fair. We want to earn it on the field. It might not be the best solution today for the Big 12, given your comments about AQs. But long term, knowing the progress we're making, the investments we're making, it's the right format for us. And I'm doubling down today on 5-11.
There you go. You heard it. Last year, the Big 12 had just one team in the playoff. It was the conference champion Arizona State. This upcoming season will once again feature a 12-team playoff, but this time a slight change. The 5 highest-ranked conference champions, they get automatic bids, but the 4 highest-ranked teams, regardless of conference champion status, will get the top 4 seeds. And more change is just a season away, too. A heavily supported 16-team playoff is likely coming for the 2026 season, but the format has several proposals, like the Big 10. They want 4 automatic bids for them and 4 for the SEC, with 2 automatic bids to the Big 12 and the ACC. But Big 12 commissioner, as you heard, Brett Yormark stated and doubled down at Big 12 Media Days that he likes that 5+11 format. 5 bids to the top conference champs and 11 at-large bids.
There'll be a couple of our schools that will emerge, as elite schools that are always part of the conversations at the highest levels, and that's what we're working towards. But it starts with parity and being competitive top to bottom, and I think we're there. But I do believe that long term you need certain schools to emerge to the top, and I think we're getting there.
The FIFA Club World Cup final at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, Chelsea versus PSG. Cole Palmer was the hero for Chelsea. He scored 2 goals and assisted on another, all before halftime, leading the Blues to a shocking victory over the European champions 3-0. President Donald Trump joined FIFA President Gianni Infantino to present the trophy to Chelsea, but instead of following Infantino off the stage, President Trump stayed next to Reece James during the celebration. Just part of the team, huh? Trump continued to celebrate with Chelsea despite Infantino's efforts to sneak in there and move him. Mr. President, please, sir. Oh, well, whatever. Party on.
And I think right now, Diego Luna is as big a star as this team has had in a long time.
Luna, great dance, Luna!
Diego Luna was the breakout star for the United States men's national team at the Gold Cup. Now he's back in Utah, ready to take that momentum to Real Salt Lake and help lead them to similar success.
Marston for Tillman, Marston for Luna, Diego Luna, deflected, it's in! Diego Luna!
To represent your country at an international level is a feeling that you can't really put into words. The amount of proud and honor and grateful you are to be there to represent the crest is awesome. So I think that's the biggest thing.
What's your biggest takeaway from it all that you feel can help you personally here with RSL and your club here?
Yeah, I think one thing is the leadership going over there and performing for your country and doing very well, and now bringing that here and keeping that same mindset, right, to perform here, to help the players, help the team on the field, but even off the field, making sure, being more of a leader. Every opportunity to get to wear the crest, you have to take it, right? And I think every chance you get and every time you perform is another step closer, right? But at the end of the day, I think, you spend 85% of the time here with your club. All the players do. So I think performing with your club is the biggest thing. And then now when you go put on the crest, it's about performing in those moments and what you've done leading up to that to allow you to have a good week with the national team. So I think the biggest thing is to continue to perform here with RSL.
Diego, have you let yourself think about what it's going to be like to be back in front of 20,000 fans on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's something that I have been thinking about a lot throughout this camp, is that I can't wait to get back and put on, the RSL jersey and in front of the fans that have been amazing support while I was gone. I think the support, and there was a video that RSL posted of the fans.
Good luck, Diego.
Good luck, Diego. Luna, we love watching you play.
Good luck at the Gold Cup.
And it kind of, it made me tear up, and I'm excited to come back and play there and score goals in front of our fans because, without them, without RSL, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So I'm extremely grateful and I'm excited.
Well, Real Salt Lake is suddenly red hot. They have earned back-to-back wins for the first time since last October. After a 1-0 win last night at the Riot over the Houston Dynamo, William Magada's goal, the only one of the night, his second of the season, proved enough for RSL to extend their unbeaten streak to 4 games. Rafael Cabral was excellent between the pipes, giving Real Salt Lake their 6th shutout of the season. Now the club prepares for a busy week, a road match in Portland against the Timbers Wednesday before coming home to face Cincinnati, who's really good on Saturday.
I think the group feels as one. In other words, like everyone has a role to play to make this thing move forward. The amount of work that Diego and Ari and Willie did and Gozo defensively was critical tonight. We don't take those 3 points, we probably end up losing that game. So, that's what I mentioned to the group, is that life will throw curveballs at you, the game will throw curveballs at you, and ask real questions. And tonight, I think the guys answered them really well.
Final round of the Scottish Open was early this morning. Rory McIlroy was the co-leader. Then on the 16th, Goddard bends in another birdie putt. All McIlroy can really do at this point is just watch.
Our Performance Automotive Play of the Day, a putt from the American Century Championship in Tahoe. This is former NHL player Joe Pavelski. His final putt on 18 for Eagle. He shoots, he scores! Pavelski wins by 9 points. That's right, points over Baseball Hall of Famer John Smoltz in the modified Stableford scoring system. Steph Curry finished 5th, a former champ, and then Charles Barkley, 69th out of a 90-player field. Chuck getting better. We have to take another quick break. WWE superstar Big E at Big 12 Media Day coming up.
And we'll continue to celebrate the life and legacy of the legendary Frank Layden and the big role that he played in keeping the Jazz here in Utah back in the 80s. That's coming up next.
It's been a sad week. We lost a legend on Wednesday. Former Jazz coach and team president and community pillar Frank Layden passed away at the age of 93.
Yeah, Layden, the original general manager when the Jazz moved to Utah, he did so much for the franchise, including when he appointed himself as the head coach, which helped lead the Jazz to their first ever playoff appearance, a season that really saved the franchise.
Yeah. KSL Sports produced a documentary on that great season, the 1983-84 team, the team with heart, in which it's clear Frank Layden was the heart of that team.
Desperation would soon be replaced with excitement. The roster Frank Layden assembled quickly developed chemistry. The team picked again to finish last became the biggest surprise in the NBA.
We only had 3 rules: be on time and play hard and play smart. And they did that.
There it is. Good night.
Frank Layden and his assistants Phil Johnson and Scott Layden found a way to accentuate the strengths of each player on the roster and produce an exciting brand of basketball.
Well, this was a team that stayed healthy, they worked hard, and they liked each other.
Frank and Phil and little Scotty, it was so much fun. It was a family atmosphere. It was a college atmosphere from day one.
Shot selection with the Jazz became very, very important. Something like Moneyball, you know. We wanted productivity for, opportunities. was very important. I think we might have been a little bit ahead of our time in doing those kind of statistics.
And Frank said, no, we're going to play defense first. We're going to stop the other team, and then we're going to run on opportunity. I want to produce 60% of the points off the fast break. Phil Johnson did an excellent job of taking the players that he had and designing an offense that accentuated the positives that each of us had as players. And it became a fun brand of basketball to watch. It was fun to play. It was really fun to play.
We could score the ball, and that was a factor. And in today's game, golly, I mean, 120 points is unheard of, and we averaged like 118.
Suddenly, the Jazz were not only fun to watch,
Down the alley, underhand scoop, it's good.
They were winning.
Frank injected a spirit of us that, have fun and win. You can compete with anybody if you play together and play hard.
An amazing knack of knowing when to look you in the eye and tell you that you had to do a better job, but also lightening the mood and not getting too serious about yourself and trying to enjoy it along the way.
And saying things like, I'd rather lose the game by 2 points instead of 3. And we'd say, well, why? He said, because 2 points is closer to winning.
Frank continued to always harp on us being part of something bigger than yourself. And that was truly the key.
The Jazz proved their coach to be right. They beat Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics. They went on the road and beat the Lakers at the Forum for the very first time.
And I think it was a game where a lot of us started to finally believe that maybe we could be a good team.
Being that team does something for you. It kicks you up a notch, gives you more respect. I remember when we won that game, it's like winning a national title.
We just started to believe in ourselves, and we started winning games that we normally didn't win, and it just started to get to the point to, like, we're in the hunt. We're good. We can play. When we go to the Lakers, we can beat you. Boston come in town, we can beat you.
Green down the middle, running hook shot, go!
They finished 11-2 in the month of December. They won 8 in a row and 13 out of 14. The Jazz had the best record in the West at the All-Star break.
The first month was just fabulous because everyone expected us to be terrible. We were picked last in the league, and we were leading the league, the division the whole way through. And it was fun. It was just a pure fun joyride.
Winning creates a buzz, and we were creating the buzz. And we was going from 3,000 people in the stands to 6,000, to 6,000, to 8,000, to selling out. It was just a gradual thing over the season, and everybody's like, let me get a part of this buzz. What's going on with the Utah Jazz? And the simple thing, we were winning.
Man, I remember those Salt Palace days, man, when the fans started coming. They started coming and they started cheering, and these fans expect a good show tonight.
What we had to do was win. There's no bad cities, there's only bad teams. And now we were proving that not only were we a good team, but we had promise for the future. I think the best way it could be put was the Jazz became family with the city, with this state.
We had a couple of laughs. I told a couple of jokes to them.
Frank Layden coached the West All-Stars.
This is the best thing that's ever happened to you as far as your career.
No.
The most fun thing?
Well, no. My honeymoon was a lot of fun. All right. But next to that, it was good.
And was eventually named NBA Coach and Executive of the Year.
I thought it was humorous when I got the call from the NBA telling me that I was Coach of the Year, and 5 minutes later, Barbara had me putting the garbage out.
And I'm convinced that when the great list of coaches is finally read, Frank Layden is going to be right there listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, with tonight's victory, the Jazz have clinched the team's first ever playoff berth.
They didn't stop there. On April 12, 1984, the Jazz defeated the Clippers 113-94, clinching the Midwest Division title.
To come in first, to beat all the teams that we had to beat to come in first was just an accomplishment for the Utah Jazz. Small little town, small little market, small little Salt Palace. They're no good. We'll come in and mop them up and move on our merry way. And that's what people expected until, we started putting 120 points on them and they were having a hard time beating us.
When they brought the banner down, to look up and say, now we're relevant. Now we're going to be taken serious. Now we can compete and we can go out and get draft picks and make people want to play for the Jazz so we can win championships. The 83-84 team was the foundation to future success of the Utah Jazz.
It's great.
You know, you see how funny Frank is and the personality, but he was just also so brilliant from a basketball management perspective. Two things I want to point out. He was not afraid to make bold decisions. Number one, trading Dominique Wilkins, who became a future Hall of Famer, one of the biggest stars in the league, the human highlight reel. He didn't do that because there was any issues with Dominique. He needed to get that $2 million to pay the employees of the team because they didn't have money to pay him. That team would have left Utah without Frank Layden and all the tough decisions he made. Another one he did, if you remember, he resigned 2 months into the 1980-89 season. Why the timing of that? Well, he would have stepped down in between this in the offseason, but he was worried that if he stepped down in the offseason, the Jazz would have gone out and made a flashy hire as a head coach. Instead, by resigning when he did, it forced the Jazz to elevate Jerry Sloan to become the head coach.
Brilliant.
The rest is history.
Yeah, we hear Austin Ainge talking about it today, stacking good decisions.
Yes.
Frank Layden stacked good decision after good decision. It led to Jerry Sloan. It led to 20 straight years of playoff appearances.
John Stockton.
Yep, Hall of Famers.
Malone.
Right, exactly.
That is how you stack good decisions. And let's hope the Jazz can have good decisions stacked in the future and get back to being great like they were during that great era. Coach Layden, thank you so much for everything you've done for the Utah Jazz, for the game of basketball, and for the state. We're going to miss you.
The WWE and the Big 12 Conference, they've had a partnership since 2013. Undertaker presented the championship trophy in 2013, and Jey Uso and Sami Zayn in 2014.
Now the Big 12 will bring SmackDown to 4 Big 12 markets on the eve of select college football games, including a Halloween SmackDown the night before the November 1st Cincinnati and Utah game at Rice-Eccles.
And if you think these WWE superstars don't pay any attention to college football, well, you would be mistaken. In fact, wrestler Big E played college football at Iowa before pursuing powerlifting and then wrestling, and he still watches each weekend. He told us down at the Big 12 Media Days that Utah will have a bounce-back season because they have big, meaty men.
It is so hard to pick, and I think that's the really fun thing about the conference is you look at the Big Ten, and there's about 3 or 4 different schools, and that's pretty much going to be it. I think Utah has a great opportunity to. You don't see Utah have 500, sub-500 seasons for long. I think Utah has a great opportunity to bounce back as well. Yes, they do have a very big, meaty men, and they're going to slap that meat. But I actually haven't had too much time to interact with Utah players. You know, you guys tend to have a bunch of very large Polynesians on the offensive and defensive lines as well. So yeah, I feel like we should be scouting Utah for sure for the next crop of WWE superstars.
It's not just the football players that are tough, right? What about the mascots? They're always putting on a show during timeouts and showing off their feats of strength, including that one right there. Which one would make the best WWE wrestler?
Man, the BYU Cougars mascot is so incredibly athletic. I think we're going there.
Okay, there you go. Back to the big leagues. Twins hosting the Pirates. Yesterday, Byron Buxton hit for the cycle. Today, in honor of that feat, he gave away a bicycle to a young Twins fan. And then he went 2 for 4 today, including this RBI double in the third, which tied the game up at 1. But in the 9th, Spencer Horwitz drives in a run on the ground out. The Pirates win 2-1, which put an end to their 8-game losing streak.
Diamondbacks taking on the Los Angeles Angels, bottom of the 4th. Arizona up 4-1 when Angels player Logan O'Hoppe hits a fly ball to deep left. But Jake McCarthy's there waiting for it at the wall, and he gets it. Go to the top of the 6th. Former Salt Lake Bee Joe Adell makes a great diving catch for the out. But the D-backs will go on to win this game 5-1.
McCarthy, and all I think of his football season. Can't be that far away, right? Vikings quarterback?
There you go. Okay, I was trying to find the football tie in there, but I caught up with you, Sam. Yeah, football season's almost here. Read about it on KSLSports.com.